Hello guys, here is a very quick tutorial on how to rig the leg. We basically want the same results just like what we have on the arm. So we have a IK-FK blend slider to blend or switch between IK and FK, and then we need them to show when they are enabled. Okay, it's that simple. But on the arm, we were using just one joint chain with the IK blend to control the blending between IK and FK. But that method, though it's the easiest one we can go for, but some people, some animators always have like some unstable feedback on this kind of setup. So let's go for a much more stable setup here. Okay. That's actually a 3 joint chain system. Okay, let me select my left side joint here. That's the original band joint, and duplicate it twice. Okay. Now I don't need anything after ankle because I'm doing the leg rig only. So anything that is after ankle will be deleted. So now I have 2 more joint chain for the leg only. Let's grab the original one. Oh, sorry. To make them looks different, I can select the second one I did, and then I can change the radius here and make them bigger, so it's easier to see. And then the next one, I make them even bigger. Okay, now you can see I have 3 joint chain right on top of each other. Okay. For this new joint chain I duplicated, I need to name this one red JT, and then this one will be a FK DRV or driver. Let's use the full name, driver, meaning this one is used to drive the actual band joint. It's not banding with the skin, that's why there is no band in the naming convention. So that's FK driver. Same thing here, FK, and then here also FK driver. Okay, and then the next joint chain will be renamed to IK driver. Okay, just copy that and paste it in IK driver here too. Okay, so both IK and FK functionalities, they're not being applied on the original band joint anymore. They will be applied on those separated joint chains, and then those 2 separated joint chains will then control the band joint. Okay, that's the idea here. With all those 3 selected, the original one and those 2 driver joint chains, let's group them together. Let's call this one JT, meaning joint, red leg GRP. Oh, I think I'm using lowercase r for red. Okay, now I can then shift P to on parent to get them outside of the system. Okay, we can now focus on this part. We have 3 joint chains. For the FK, we need to create FK controller. Let me start with very simple ones. A circle here, and then let's just make it bigger. Call this one AC right side. Of course, I need to indicate that this one is for FK. Okay. And group it. I can name this new one, new group, AC red FK side GRP. Okay, so that's one group. Let me just duplicate it 2 more times. I can name the second one FK knee GRP, and then the controller underneath it will also be renamed to FK knee. The last thing will be the ankle GRP, and then ankle controller. Okay, now open them. I just need to parent them into their right hierarchy here. The ankle will be underneath the knee, and then the knee will be underneath the thigh. I think I tapped that wrong. Sorry about that. Thigh. There's no T also. Okay. Now it's time to move the controller to where they are supposed to be. It's actually very simple. Just select the group of the side and then shift select any joint here on the side part, on the side location. Let's just do a modify match transformation, match all transform. That will move side right there. Okay, and then for the knee, select the knee group and then the knee joint, modify, match transformations, match all transforms. Okay, and then open that. Let's select the ankle one and do the same thing, modify, match transformation, match all transformation. So what I'm doing here is just match those three controllers group to where the joint is to get a perfect alignment. Now their shape isn't quite right. What I can do there now is grab the vertex there and then probably rotate and then make them bigger. Again, the shape actually doesn't matter, it's just how they looks like. But you don't want to rotate those controller directly, you want to change the shape instead, because the alignment is already done by using match transformation. If you rotate it, that means the controller is actually 90 degrees away from the orientation the joint has. Okay, that's why I'm rotating the vertex instead. Okay, that's the FK controllers. Let me duplicate the ankle one there and call this new one IK, because that's actually where I need my IK to be. This new one will need to be unparented because IK shouldn't follow FK at all. That's IK. Now I can give the IK a different shape. Normally for the foot, I will have the IK sitting on the grid like that. Okay, something like this will be good enough. Drag that down and then drag those two down. Alright. So now I have my IK ankle controller. I need one more, which is the knee controller. Luckily I have this one reserved. Okay, I can just duplicate that one and drag it in. The location will be funded by selecting any of those joint chain and then create a polygon by using create polygon tool and then holding down B button to create a triangle geometry there. Okay, and then just grab the vertex at the knee and holding down W, go to axis, normal, to go to normal axis and drag the V direction, drag it forward. You want to go further away from the knee, so when the leg bends, the knee wouldn't reach there, otherwise you will have twisting to deal with. That's not a big problem, but you know, just makes things look nice and smooth. Okay, now holding down W and go back to W and left mouse button to go back to the selection of the axis. I need to go back to Word. Now I just need to snap the controller there, and then later on I can now start to rotate it by rotating the vertex. Probably use soft selection here just to make it looks curved, you know, to make it looks nicer. Okay, making sure when you select the controller you have all zeros in Y rotation and translation, but ones in scale X, Y and Z. The group can have any kind of translation, that's fine. Okay, now I don't need this geometry anymore, so let me just delete that, and that will be my AC right IK knee GRP. Okay, let me just copy the name here and then paste it down there. Okay, great. Now we have all the controllers created. Let's apply those controllers to the joints. Select the AFK controllers, and then let's open the joint group, select the AFK joints. Let's isolate them. I need to use the AFK controller to do ORing constraint on the AFK driver joints one by one. So AFK side controller will control the AFK side driver joint. Okay, now let's do that by going to rigging constraint, ORing constraint. If you're doing everything correctly, you shouldn't need to check maintain offset. Everything will be fine. Okay. Let's do the same thing here on IK. So AFK is set it up just like that. Everything is fine now. Let's go back to select the IK driver joint and then the IK controllers. We have 2 of those. Okay, let's set up IK. It's also the same as the one we did on ARM. We need a IK RP solver. By go to skeleton, create IK handle, and then use rotate plane solver, and then click on the side IK driver joint, and then click on the ankle IK driver joint, and then that will create a IK handle for me. Let's rename this one IK handle right leg. Okay, parent the IK handle to the IK controller. Last step will be selecting the IK knee controller and then shift select the IK handle. Let's do one more constraint, pull vector. Okay, make sure when you're doing that, you should see no pop. Just Z, go back, shift Z to reapply the pull vector constraint. You shouldn't see the joint moving at all. Okay, now I have the IK working. Now both IK and FK were applied on separate joint chains. The IK controller is controlling now the IK driver side, IK driver joints. The FK controller are now controlling the FK driver joint. Now it's time to use those 2 driver joints to control the actual band joint. Okay, this process is a little bit elaborate, but it's more stable than one joint chain system. Let's go to Window Node Editor here. Let's clear everything. And I need to pull those 3 joint chain all in. Let's grab all 3 of those band joints and grab them in. Okay, also I need to grab all 3 IK joint and then all 3 FK joint. Those 3. Okay. Just make things bigger so it's easier to see. It's the driver joint. That's the FK driver. That's the band, and that's the IK driver joint. Now I need to create blenders, a color blend to blend their values. It's actually a very simple concept. Let's press tab button on the keyboard and type in blend color. Let's call this one blend colors. Right side translation or translate. Okay, and I will use this to blend the translate from IK and FK. I need to combine those 2 together. So translate from the FK will be color 1, translate from IK will be color 2, and I blend them together and use the result as the translate of the actual band joint of the side. Okay, the same concept will be applied on the knee and ankle joint. Let me do that here real quick. duplicate that one, and this one will be ankle. Okay. Now let's open those driver joints. I have two knee driver joint. FK's translate goes to color 1 of the FK knee driver joint goes to color 1 of the knee translate blend colors, and the IK translates on the knee. The IK driver joint, the translation of the IK driver knee joint goes to the blend colors right knee translate blend, and then the blend result will go to the actual translation of the band knee joint, and the same thing applies to the ankle. So they're all repetitive stuff. Translate, and then the output goes to translate here. Okay. Now that's translation. Let's do rotation also. Rotation wise, Maya will create those unique convert in the middle, which is really disturbing. So I'm gonna do something here before I do that. Go to options and uncheck add to graph on create. Okay, uncheck that. Okay, let's also see attribute editor here, so it's easier to see what's happening. Now let's create one more blend color here. Let's just duplicate that one. Oh, you know what? When I duplicate it, it's not gonna be in the graph anymore. I need to add it in by press the plus button. Let's duplicate one more time, and then one more time to add all 3 new blend color here, and those will be rotation. Let's just change the name of translate to rotate or rotation. Okay. Oh, sorry. So that one will be the knee. I have tapped that one wrong. The last one will be the ankle. Okay, it's the same concept. I will use rotation. I will blend rotation of both IK and FK driver joints, and then apply the result to the actual band joint. So I'm just gonna align them this way so it's easier to see where they are. The rotation of FK goes to color 1. It's okay if you see no connections, as long as you see this color 1 becomes connected. Let's do the same thing here. Color 2. See, it's connected, and then the result goes to the rotation of the side. Okay. Okay, the side is over. Let's do the knee. You have to be really careful. Let's do that here. Rotation goes to color 1. That rotation goes to color 2, and then output goes to rotate of the actual band joint. Okay, that's done. Let's move on to the next one. Ankle rotation from FK goes to color 1. Ankle rotation from IK goes to color 2. The result goes to the rotation of the actual band joint. Okay. Now those 3 are all being connected. And now it's time to actually apply blending, because I haven't done any weighting control yet. That means that if you now select those blend, you see now the blend value will be 0.5. That means I'm actually blending them by like half. So 50% of the rotation and translation will be coming from FK, another 50% will be coming from IK. Okay, and we can test that by actually going to the maybe FK controller and rotate it. See, now when I rotate it, the FK controller only kind of like controlling half of it. something wrong here. Let me go back and check. Looks like my IK knee is not doing the things it's supposed to be doing. Let's see. Sorry, the FK knee, I didn't do the rotation here correctly. I don't know why. Let's drag the FK rotation here to the knee one. It's the color one actually. The rotation of the IK goes to color 2. I must have connected something wrong there. I'm sorry about that. Let's try that again. Okay, now FK have like half control. Okay, I haven't done that one either. I think I have connected wrong thing. But what I need to do is use the rotation instead of something else I was doing. Let's redo. Use rotation to control the color 1 and color 2. Okay, let's try that one more time. Okay, it's still not rotating. It's trying to do something though. 3, no, it's not like that. Maybe I have done something wrong. Let's see. The ankle joint here. Let's go back to node editor and see that's what that is. The rotation is being connected. Let's reconnect it from the output again to the rotation. Just making sure everything is correct. The FK driver rotation goes to color 1. It's already connected. The rotation of the IK goes to color 2. The output goes to rotation. Okay, just making sure that's true. Let's try that one more time, only on the ankle. Now I can see it's rotating. For some reason, I think I just misclicked or something. But the concept here is very simple. We're just using blend colors to blend the rotations together and then apply that on the actual band joint. Blend the IK and FK joints and blending their translation and rotation together, and then the blend result will be applied on the original rig joint or band joint. That's the basic idea. Okay, let me just go there and zero out the rotation of my FK controller just to go back to the band pose. Now it's time to use a slider to control their blend value here. We have 6 blend. Okay. Let me just duplicate the slider from my left leg here real quick. Select the group, duplicate it, and move it to the other side. Okay, that should be good enough. And then let's rename this one and change the left to right. Okay, and then unparent this one. Also, this one shouldn't follow the original constraint anymore, so delete that. And this one should be following the actual band joint there. Let's go grab it. It's really hard to find that. That's the actual knee band joint. Use that joint to do a constraint, parent constraint with maintain offset on the group of the slider. That means now when I rotate, the slider will follow, just to make it more convenient to find. Now I need to use this slider to control the blend. It's actually very simple. All I need to do is get the blend, slider in, and use its translate X to control the blender. Okay, translate X to control blender. I will eventually have 6 connections. Am I using Y? I'm sorry about that. Let's go back and use X. X goes to blender. Okay. Let's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm missing one somewhere. Oh, that one there. Translate X, go to blender. Now those translation X, the translation X of the slider, which is this, it will actually blend the or change the blend color, the blend value of those blend color, which also just like blending between the IK value and FK value. So the concept here is also very simple. You just need to use the translation X to control if you're using IK or FK, or using more IK, lesser FK, or more FK, lesser IK. So it behaves more like a blend instead of a switch. Okay. Now let's see, when my slider is all the way down there, I believe the IK, the FK will take full control, right? If I go there and drag the slider up, it goes back to IK, and then my IK now will have full control of the lag. Okay, perfect. Now some cleanup. First, let's take a look at the hierarchy. I have the joint group, and I don't need to see anything in that group. So Control H to hide that. I have my FK joint controller group. I have my IK groups. I have ankle and knee. Let's group them together. Call this one AC. Right, IK, like, GRP. The right side of the like IK controllers will underneath their own group, and that's the sliders group. I can then select those three groups and group them together. Let's call this one AC, right, like, GRP. Okay, that's all my controllers underneath this one group. Now I have the controllers group, the join group, group them together. Let's call this one AC, right, like, GRP. Okay, that's the controllers. Oh, that's the entire rig group. Sorry about that. So it's not AC, it's right, like, rig. This entire group consists of the mechanic I have for the red leg rig. Now let's pull that back to the master mover hierarchy. Now you see, now we have one more group for the right leg rig. Great. Now when I'm in FK mode, I don't want to see the IK, right? When I'm in IK mode, I don't want to see the FK. So let's do that mechanic here real quick. It's better to start with a new tab here, and let's just add in our controller here, and then let's create a reverse node and call this one reverse right side IKFK lag IKFK invert IKFK blend inverse or reverse. Okay, just name the things with a unique name so it's easier for you to understand what that is. Now I need to use the translate X as the input of the reverse. The output will be the reversed version of translate X, right? And then I need to use that to control the visibility of these controllers. Now let's go there and open the controllers group. I have FK's group and I have IK's group. Let's open those two groups. Let's use translate X to control the IK and the reverse version to control FK. Oh, sorry, I did it wrong again. It's the upside. The reverse version will be controlling the FK actually. The actual translation X will be controlling IK. Oops, I did that wrong again. Sorry, I'm kind of tired. So that's the reversed relationship. So the translate X will actually be controlling the FK. Good. Now, if I go through the slider, you see now I'm switching between IK FK, and also the IK FK will work when they're visible. I can now blend back to FK. Okay, everything works. The good thing about this kind of setup is that it's pretty stable, and because we're just blending numerical values by using color blend instead of using instead of using O-ring constraint and those kind of things, because they're pretty unstable. Sometimes when you have rotate something like further than 180 degrees, you got weird flipping happening. Those numerical ways to blend things together in this graph is much more stable than before, okay, than the O-ring constraint. And that is it. That's the entire setup for the red light. I hope you guys enjoys it. It's very easy to make mistakes using this way, but still that's the one of the most stable way to do that. Let's just zero out my translate X. Make sure that when you're switching between IKFK or blending between IKFK, the lag will not move. Okay, make sure all your controllers have 0 values like that, and make sure that both of those works. Cool, and I guess that's it. So happy rigging, and I will see you next time. There's one more thing I forget to do actually, which is the control from the hip. Now I have my hip joint isolated here. If I rotate my hip, see my left leg works, my right leg doesn't follow. That's because I haven't done any constraint from the hip joint to the leg rig yet. It's actually a very simple process. Just select the hip joint here, okay, and use the hip joint to do a parent constraint on the joint group. I just had them. The joint group meaning the entire joint group. Okay, so the hip joint and then the joint right leg group. Let's do a constraint, parent constraint. Okay, another parent constraint will also coming from the hip joint to the FK controllers group. Okay. If you do that, you should see the FK follows now. Okay, and then the IK will not, which is also what we needed. And there's one more thing I forget to do here. I'm sorry about that. I'm kind of tired. One last thing here is the IK controller is not being able to rotate the foot yet. That's because we just forget to do the IK O-ring constraint on the driver joints. Let's do that real quick. Select the IK controller and then the IK driver joint on the ankle. That one. IK controller and then IK driver joint ankle to a constraint O-ring constraint. Okay, if you do that, you should be able to rotate it now. Okay, that's one last step I forget to do. And a rigging is just like that. There's so many things that could go wrong, so you have to be really careful, and you also have to understand, otherwise you will never make it actually working for you. So just make sure that you understand everything I teach you, instead of just try to memorize those things, because there are so many steps. You could go wrong in any step if you don't understand what's actually happening. Okay, and thanks again, and I will see you next time.